One of my passions has always been to get people to learn how to do things quicker than normal. Same thing with horses. So simulators have been something I've always loved. And this little simulator here can do a lot of things, but including getting the horse ready for a trailer loading situation, and getting where he can get comfortable going in and out of things. It's the squeeze game. You know, it's squeezing under the roof, between the walls. This is Vanna. And so we're trying to show you some different patterns here on how to use a simulator like this. We learned this simulator here, this concept from Carla and Buck Bechtold, who have a horse hauling company called Equine Limousine. And they got a hold of Linda and kept telling her about this idea they had, and so they brought it out, and so we put a couple of these up and played around with several horses, and so we thought we'd share it with you. So you can see the little pattern on the right side of your screen there. You know, it's kind of showing you what I've got in mind here, what I'm apt to do. Like that one there, just go in and come back out, where the one before was go in, turn around and come back out. Playing with Vanna here, trying to get several things going here, and I like to get my horses a lot of exposure and experience. I want them to learn how to read me. I always ask people, do you not raise your hand if you know how to read a horse? But your horse has got to learn how to read you too. That's why the 7 games work so good, because like there I was trying to do the friendly game and she thought I was trying to drive her, and so it took me a couple of attempts there with relaxed body language to get her to realize I was trying to throw that over her head. So again, look at the little patterns there, and you can see what my objective is. And I want to get her prepared for any number of situations in a trailer. A lot of people say, I never let my horse turn around to come out of a trailer. Instead of that, never say never. Don't always say always. Usually say usually. What if you had to? What if something came up and you had to, and you made a rule that you never did that? You can see the little dot there. That's about all the farther I asked her to go in. So I'm asking her to solve, to be a puzzle solver. All right. So can she? You can tell by the diagram. There's about 12 of these little patterns here, that just this one particular obstacle, and how this got going was Linda's sister Yvonne, who's head of the creative department here for Savvy Club and for all the things that we try to share with you visually, said, well, show us how to do 7 games with 1 obstacle. So we started kind of thinking along those lines, which is something I do all the time, but I want to share this with those of you in the Savvy Club. And something that might make sense to you is, here I'm playing the yo-yo game, going back and forth, forth and back, getting her used to having her head going underneath there. Instead of putting a helmet on, you see these people, they put a leather helmet on their horse's head because he bumps his head. They're avoiding, they're not teaching their horse to be more confident and responsive. But I want you to think about, it's not just the 7 games. There are 7 concepts you got to teach your horse. To be confident during certain things, to yield to steady pressure, to yield to rhythmic pressure, to go back and forth in a straight line, to go in a circle, to go sideways, and to squeeze in and out of things. Those are the 7 teachings. You've got to teach your horse those 7 things. Then you've got to be able to control your horse in 7 ways, because when things get going faster, getting going, you got to get out of control. Get things under control. You've got to either control him with steady pressure, or got to say stand still. You've got to be able to use controlling with rhythmic pressure and get him to back off. Sometimes you control a horse by getting him under control by doing a yo-yo game, because a horse is wanting to go back to the barn too fast. Or sometimes you go sideways. Sometimes you put him in a circle. Sometimes you're squeezing. After you've taught and got teaching and control, then you have the 7 reinforcements. That's where you make a game out of things. You come up to something, you say to your horse, the horse asks you, do you want me to back in and out of this? Or do you want me to go around it sideways. What do you want me to do with this obstacle? They start asking you questions. You make a game out of, like for example, in the circling game, I say to a horse, don't make me pick up the stick. All right, so I want to send this horse in a circle past the opening and then go on in, turn around and come out. So I want the horse to get to where he's looking for direction and can be directed, will be directed, orchestrated. I like to orchestrate the life in my horse's body. So I hope this is giving you lots of ideas on how you were to create yourself a simulator or have a simulator, that you could, the different things that you can do. Little falling leaf, turn around there, or change your directions, turn around, go out, send out, feel your way back and come on through. Actually, this time not come on through. So like, see there, I asked her the first time to go out and come back. That time I said, go on out and wait for me. This is the difference between training horses' tricks and communication. Communication is two or more individuals sharing and understanding an idea. So sideways, sideways, sideways. Zone 1, Zone 2, Zone 3, Zone 4. Go on in. Think your way through. Feel the rope. Come on back. See how this is getting a horse ready for these tight little claustrophobic places. In the early 80s, I went around, had a little business called Have Help Will Travel, and I'd travel around the country helping people with their horses. And trailer loading was probably probably the number one thing that I did. I wouldn't have minded having a little tent like this to take with me. And when I was a kid, we used to have single axle trailers that we'd tow behind the car, a little one-horse trailer, and it'd have the axle going through there. The horses actually had to stand with just like that, with their feet over the axle going through the trailer. And they did that to keep the trailer down low. Some of you probably never saw that, but I'll bet you there's a few people right now watching going, yeah, I remember those old trailers. So right here, I'm asking her to get to where she can think her way under that roof while stepping over something, or step over something and think her way under the roof. See, that's a lot to do there. Get the picture now? There you go. Gosh, I've got a fun life. Getting to play with these great horses and doing all kinds of fun things. Our program is way more than riding. Let's see if we can solve this puzzle. You can see by the diagram what we're up to here. In our graphics department, and don't they do such a great job? Just like that little diagram on the side there for you, might help you learn to see what you're needing to see here. Get you where you can learn things even quicker and faster. Technology today just can make things so good, so much better for all of us. I hope this is helping. Now we're going to change it up a little bit. Put that right up there next to it. Now she's really got to think over the jump, under the roof. We set it down there just a little bit to get her. See how she's thinking her way over those? And I used Vanna for this because she's a very reactionary mare. She's very reactive, easily startled, gets her life up, her blood up. And if Vanna can think her way through this, let me tell you, I think most any horse can. And there is a difference between technique and technician. This is what I try to get people to understand. It's not just a technique, just this way or that way. It's adjusting to fit the situation. It's learning, maybe even thinking in terms of getting your horse to have exposure and some experience for the inevitable. Inevitability has it I'm going to haul this horse somewhere, some way, someday, in some vehicle, maybe even different vehicles. And I've seen a lot of people have a horse that get used to one kind of trailer but not the other. One kind of experience but not the other. Horses are very adaptable if we give them the exposure and the experience. Now we're back on the first exercise we had, remember? Just in and out. But now it's in and out with that. So you wouldn't start with the end. You'd start in the beginning, but you'd start with the end in mind. In other words, when you first started, you could imagine that someday the horse could go around there and go over that cavallette and then walk in, or go over something. Now here's the example of the circling game. Don't make me pick up that stick. This is how I make a game out of it. The circling game is the only game where you can stand in complete neutral. The sideways game, the yo-yo game, you've got to be actively neutral. Okay, here we go. You guys notice that we got the door shut on the other side there? We've had it open. In and out. Let's watch. Let's try it again. And a girl. Okay. Now watch how I get her out of here. Okay. So if I just pull on that rope, she'd probably turn her nose and come to me. There we go. I stuck my stick in that tent and I pointed that stick at her nose, at zone 1, so that she wouldn't turn her nose. So sometimes I'd want her to turn. Sometimes I don't want her to turn. Sometimes I want her to go in with me on her left. Sometimes I want her to go in with me on my right. And a girl. Communication is two or more individuals sharing and understanding an idea. Horses are very adaptable if we give them the exposure and the experience.